In this lesson, we're going to learn the forearm inward strike block in an L stance. So, forearm inward strike block, as the name implies, it is both a strike and it is a block. When used as a block, you're bringing your forearm across and you're protecting your chest area. So unlike in walking stance, where the block would stop here, in L stance, we bring it all the way across. So it has to come in front and protect our chest here. When used as a strike, you can imagine if your opponent was here, this would be the striking tool. It would be a hammer fist strike going for the head. Generally the temple, side of the jaw, but the motion is exactly the same. So if there's an opponent here next to me in this space, this is a strike. That's why we call it forearm inward strike block. So whether you use it as a strike or whether you use it as a block, it's the same motion. So in L stance, though, the important thing, as I mentioned, is the block doesn't stop here. It's going to come all the way around in front of you like this. So you're going to bring it all the way across in front of your body. So looking at that from the side, starting from as far back as you can behind your head, swinging down and across in front of your body. And notice how the other arm is up. So I don't know if I've mentioned this in other lessons up to this point, but you notice, and now that you're green belt, you notice that both arms are involved in the block or the strike, whatever the technique happens to be, even if you're only using one of them. So even though I'm blocking with just this arm here, both arms are involved in the block. So this arm is coming up and I'm using that motion, that twisting force, I'm using both arms to help generate the power for this block, or strike, if you want to use it as a strike. So, by now I'm guessing that you've probably picked up on that, but if you haven't picked up on that, you notice that even when you're just using one arm, both arms are involved. Both arms are being used to generate power. So, forearm inward strike block, this arm is coming up to protect in front here like this, and then bring the block down and across in front of you. And you notice it comes all the way across. It doesn't stop here. It's got to come across in front of my chest. So turning around. So that's one of the differences with this block between the walking stance version and the L stance version. Walking stance version, L stance version. So further across in front. So practicing, and again, this is the blocking surface, the forearm when used as a block, as a strike, the hammer fist. So practicing forearm inward strike block in an L stance. 2, 3, turn around. 2, 3, turn around. Now, I find when I'm using the closed fist blocks that I have more power on those blocks. The knife hand versions of these blocks, these strikes, I tend to think of them more as strikes than as blocks. But whenever I have hands closed, I feel like I'm getting a more powerful block out of it when I do that. Maybe that's my personal preference, but I feel typically that I feel like the block is more powerful when I have hands closed. But, you know, let me know in the comments what you think with hand open or closed, but that is the difference here is with hand closed, if you're going to use it as a strike, it's going to be a hammer fist. Used as a block, it's a forearm block. When you do the open hand version of this with the knife hand, then it's a knife hand strike. So you would be targeting, instead of the head, you'd probably be going for the neck with the knife hand strike. And if used as a block, you can still use the forearm, but we tend to want to hit the striking tool with the knife hand and try to do damage. So we're trying to use a smaller striking tool on the knife hand version. The forearm version, if you're just trying to block, you've got all this surface here to work with. So another thing is this block, like the knife hand version, it comes down and across in front. So it's not staying up high the whole time, and it doesn't start low and stay low. It starts up high and then curves, comes around, down, low, like this. So when you're doing this block, up high, start it up behind your head, and then bring it down and across in front of your body, like this. So that is forearm inward strike block in an L stance.